Yo, what it do? I think the last time I streamed was in July. A lot has happened since then. I finally finished editing and uploading my first ever video. Before I even started streaming, right, I did some research. I didn't have much, actually I didn't have any experience in content creation. And watching these videos and learning from them, it kind of set the expectation that I would probably have 0 viewers for a while. So I'm okay with that. I haven't had a single viewer so far, so that's definitely been true. Another thing I learned was essentially that I should act the same with 1 viewer that I would with 10,000 viewers, etc., etc. And things like, oh, you should stream something that you can convert into a YouTube video. So maybe like plan out, like have a rough idea of what you're gonna do and things like that. So these are the things I kind of researched before I started streaming, right? So naturally, when it was time to start, I created a document planning out the stream, at a very high level. First, I'll be like, okay, what main activity am I going to be doing today? Maybe I want to talk about a little bit before I start the main activity. So what would be, that topic about? Like, for example, today I am talking about my first video that I ever created in my life. I also plan out how long each session would take. Overall, this is a very high outline of how I want my stream to be structured, right? To those who haven't seen it though, essentially I was trying to play League of Legends and get 1 ranked win with mainly just using my voice. So that was the premise of the video. And in my head, before I started, I was thinking, yeah, I wanted a really fun video about my experience, right? It would have a good story, good pacing, good editing, all while being entertaining, right? And mind you, I don't know what that even means. I just know a good video should have all these things. With the high level plan set, start doing the streams. And surprisingly, even for an introvert like me, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a trial session, right? I didn't know how I would feel doing streaming. And even though not a single person watched, it was different and fun for the time being, at least. I will say there are some cons as well that I felt. Like, for example, I did inherently have a pressure of always talking because I'm the only one providing the content, right? Even if there was 5 seconds of silence, I internally started panicking. I'm like, okay, I need to say something. I just can't have it the audio just being blank, right? That was a challenge. And on top of that, League is a competitive game, right? Because you're playing with 9 other people. So for me, at least, as someone who's not good at that game, it's hard to talk or think about what to even talk about while you're focused on the game. I have no idea how these League streamers do it, or anyone who plays competitive games, as a matter of fact. But yeah, that was hard for me to get a grasp of. And essentially that was a pretty big reason why I wanted to do something voice-based, at least for my first video, because even though I won't be talking about, or I won't say anything coherent, words will be coming out of my mouth. I will be saying something. It'll just be voice commands, so it's not as entertaining, but it was a way for me to make sure the stream won't be just silence noise, at least for my first few streams. Overall, okay, going back to the stream experience, right? I believe I did 3 sessions, totaling about 5 hours of content. It's still cringe every time I say that, to be honest, making content. But anyways, I had 1 chat message the entire time. I wish it was something like hi or something, or even a lurker would have been nice, but nah. It was a bot. It was something along the lines of visit buysomeBots.com, get 20% off bot viewers, or something like some scam like that, right? And honestly, that made me realize that AI still had a long way to go. It was close, but the wrong Indian. I'm not Neon, so I'm not gonna bot my stream. Well, eventually, I finished streaming, right? And in my head, I was like, okay, now this is where the magic happens. I was like, time to make a banger video so I can get viewers to come into my future stream. This is the thing that I was talking about, the research before. This is what people were saying. Convert your VODs into good videos, and then as people watch your YouTube videos, they'll come to your stream. So that's what was going in my head. And on top of that, I was like, I watch YouTube every day. I can tell the difference between a good and a bad video. How hard could it be? It shouldn't be that difficult. I downloaded all the free tools, right? I'm not paying for Adobe. No way. So I downloaded DaVinci Resolve for the video editing, some tool called GIMP for the Photoshop equivalent, because I'm not going to spend a dime before I know this is something I want to do in the long term. This is still a trial phase. I mean, who knows? Who knows what happens in the next few months? I might hate it. If I hate streaming, I'm not gonna stream, obviously, right? I'm not doing it for the money, of course. So yeah, I got all these tools. I got all the VODs ready. Like I downloaded it and put it on to the timeline and everything, right? But then the combination of me not knowing how any of the tool work, like not a single button or anything, I'm just staring at all these like complicated widgets and stuff like that, and the vast amount of footage, like 5 hours of footage is so long. And on top of that, I had no detailed outline of how I'm gonna turn these VODs into a good video. I just knew my idea of what the videos were gonna be about, but how can I make it into a good video? I had no clue. So I was just like, gulp. And I was just like, oh, I'm in trouble. And I was just staring. I had no idea what to do. And low-key, it was so intimidating that I didn't touch the footage for months. Like, think about this. I streamed in July and didn't start editing until November. I always kept coming up with excuses, right? And I didn't want to stream again until I had some video out. I don't know. The logic in my head was like, it's not the amount of times I would stream, it's like the quality of the stream, right? And I would definitely want people, user interaction and stuff like that going forward. Even one viewer would be nice, I believe. So I want to get some video out, get some traction, and then hopefully for the next stream, maybe get a viewer or two. But yeah, more on that later. So essentially I was just bumming it out. Well, bumming it out. I was doing my 9 to 5, and I was always making excuses like, I don't have time to do this, or I'll do it tomorrow. You know, the basic procrastination vibe of everything. And every time I watched a big streamer, in the back of my head was always like, damn, that could be me. I mean, not me as in like having these thousands of viewers, but it's like, that could be me. Just instead of wasting my time watching someone else, I could be creating my own content, right? Just for the fun of it. Like in the past, I've said, even if this goes nowhere, I don't really mind. Worst case scenario, this is just gonna be me documenting my life, right? So I think this would be fun to look back on like 10, 20 years down the line. Yeah, so whenever I saw these streamers, I was like, damn, these people are working way harder than me in this one thing. I felt this sense of guilt, you could say, right? That I should be doing what I want to do. But then like it kept accumulating over the months until finally I was talking to someone who was chasing their dream, right? And you know how it is when you're around people who are very optimistic about life and chasing things and all that stuff. They have a sense of energy, right? That it can like transmit to everyone. At least for me, it transmits to me. When I'm around people who are chasing their dreams, it's so inspirational, and it low-key rubbed off on me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this video done by the end of November, no matter what. No matter how bad it is or whatever, I'm gonna get something out so then I can start streaming again in December. So then I opened up DaVinci Resolve, put all the VODs again, and painstakingly watched through the entire 5 hours. That was an experience because watching myself from a third-person point of view, it's not something people do often, right? So it was interesting to see how I behave and things I can improve on and what I should do better next time and things like that, right? I mean, overall, just watching myself was a good experience to become a better public speaker, I guess, maybe, hopefully in the future. It also was an experience that was cringe because on top of everything, just hearing my voice, I was also having allergies, right? So my voice was more nasally than usual. But either way, whatever. I ended up watching it all. So overall, I got it down around 1 hour of, usable footage. And that was a good first step because I wanted the video to be under 20 minutes for sure. The issue was that the footage was all there, but it was more of a recap of my stream. And I didn't want to do a recap. I wanted to do something that was more storytelling-ish, that shows my personality, all that. I don't want to just smash a bunch of clips together and make a video like that. I don't want to make a highlight or low light reel or something like that, right? So, I mean, that was the goal at least, but the issue was when I was recording, I was just doing random shiz and never deeply outlined what the final video would look like. So instead of me streaming with a purpose, I was just streaming, and then now I had to manufacture some story based on whatever the footage was available, right? So I'm kind of doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do. But maybe in streaming that's what you're supposed to do. I have no idea. I'm just learning as I'm going. And now that I had an hour of footage, I had no idea how to do storytelling or any filmmaking concepts in general. And I feel like with the final result, you can kind of feel it. Actually, you can definitely feel it, and you can definitely tell. And yeah, I feel like the story was hard to follow. And okay, for those who haven't seen it, it's essentially a quick summary would be there's 30 seconds of a training arc, right? Like anime style training arc, all that shiz. And then you get a win in a casual mode of the game. And after many losses, there's finally like a ranked win, right? And this is a classic, well, what I was going for at least was the classic story of failing early and, you know, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and yeah, getting up after you've been knocked down over and over again, right? You know, the cliche story archetype and things like that. Well, you know, it wasn't perfect, right? It took so many hours when combining, you know, going over the footage multiple times, learning all the tools, learning how I watching videos on how to like storytell and things like that. But honestly, as soon as I started doing it, it didn't feel that bad. Like I started learning one thing at a time and it just started being enjoyable, right? The video definitely did not turn out anything that I originally expected because there's so many parts of making a video that you just don't really think about. At least I didn't think about. For example, all the zooms, all the cuts, all the music that goes behind the scenes. For me, I just went to the YouTube Studio, copyright free music, and on the first page I just listened to a couple of the tone of what I was going for and just slapped it on. And I'm not proud of it that that's how I found the music or did anything music related, but I have no idea music theory or anything like that, right? So I mean, it is what it is. So it was approaching the end of the month, and even though it wasn't fully the vision that I had initially, I was happy with what I did in my first video, and I'd rather complete my first video and get something out instead of like making it 100% exactly what I want, right? So I can move on to the next thing. And you know, as of today, all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making this video, I have a total of, drumroll please, 0 views. It's all good though. I don't expect the video to go off. It's nothing special. Even though no one has seen it, I'm not afraid to say that I do feel a sense of accomplishment about completing something. I guess this is gonna be the first time me being a producer on YouTube rather than just a consumer, right? And I have mad respect for anyone even attempting to make a YouTube video, because the amount of hours that you spend versus the output that you get is just not, you're like working for like a few cents per hour type of situation, right? So especially those who are starting out, kudos to all y'all who's trying to make this a full-time job. Like, it's intense. And my goal is just to get better after every upload, right? So I'm curious to see where I am after my 10th, 50th, 100th YouTube video, right? As long as the process is fun, I'm gonna keep doing it. So, I mean, let's see where we can take this. With that being said, yeah, if you're interested, please go watch my video. Put some comments on how I can improve.